AutoLine at CES is brought to you by Magna and Sabic, and by Borg Warner, Bose, ETAS, and Gentex.
So, Peter, tell the audience who you are.
I'm Peter Kosak, and I lead the Automotive Business Unit at Bose Corporation.
And you worked at GM before coming to Bose.
Yeah,
Tell us what you did there.
Sure did, John. I worked there for 32 years. I worked in a lot of different roles, engineering and purchasing and program management and marketing. But I think probably the most fun roles were leading programs. I think that's where it kind of all comes together.
What are some of the cars you worked on?
Yeah, I worked in the Camaro for a while. That's pretty passion-fueled. And then one of my last roles was the vehicle line executive on the Cadillac CT6 program, which was the Cadillac flagship sedan for the Globe, introduced in 2016.
So you're a total car guy.
I am. I think people either love the products or love the industry or love both, and I definitely love both.
So what attracted you to come to Bose?
In the Cadillac CT6 program, as a Cadillac should be, we sought to make the car super quiet and on a very, very accommodating sound stage, quiet sound stage that bespoke luxury and quality. We wanted to raise the best audio system on the planet. And so we worked with Bose to develop Pan-Array, which, for the time was really groundbreaking. It was 20 channels and 34 speakers, including in the front headrests. And, just through that, I came to really appreciate the underlying technologies and, bringing music, deeply immersive, spatial, lifelike music to an automotive application. It was just a blast.
So you gave me a demonstration before we started this interview that you got to tell it. I mean, it is by far the best audio I have ever heard in a car before. Totally immersive.
Yeah, and I feel the exact same way, John. We hear the same thing from OEMs and consumers. We're showing a concept here called 3DX, and it has three-dimensional audio in three forms. Stereo upmixing, which is more traditional. Also using 3D native content from Dolby, and we're showing that here in two forms. One form is sort of the apex performance with overhead speakers, and then we're also showing a version of that doesn't leverage overhead speakers. But, in the end, the performance is born of really two things. One, the acoustic structure in the vehicle, the placement of the speakers and the definition of those speakers, and then very complex sound rendering algorithms. And, the result is like nothing I've ever heard before, and certainly something that when we did the CT6, I couldn't have even imagined. It's very lifelike.
And so when you say overhead speakers, you literally mean that. I mean, you've got speakers up high in the vehicle, up against the roof there.
That's exactly right. Yeah, top of the, just above on the headliners, at the top of the A-pillar, and then along the side rail for the rear occupants as well.
And what is it? I felt like I was in a recording studio. I've never heard sound that pure inside of a car.
Yeah, and I think it's a real trick. I think when you're in a reference room or in really any room for that matter, bringing native 3D content to consumers in a very spatial form is, it's easier, I would say. In a vehicle, it's a real trick because you've got, reflective and absorptive surfaces that differ around the vehicle. And so I think it really is through a very, very careful placement and specification of speakers, and then through rendering, which is really, I think, what Bose does better than anybody else.
Then you gave me another demonstration in the new GMC Hummer EV. But in that case, you're not just making the sound system sound better, you're actually adding sound to enhance the driving experience.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And I think the roots of that really are in what we call engine sound enhancement or cancellation, where you want to take resonant sound in engines and either smooth them to make them seem more high quality and less objectionable, or remove them completely. And in the case of EVs, that opportunity and need are both greater. In that particular program, we worked with General Motors to bring a more passion-filled experience to launch through an enhancement where the vehicle lowers, and then General Motors calls it watts to freedom, where you get a build-up and a launch that's very emotive for consumers. And then in other cases, like when you're rock crawling and you need to get feedback like you normally get from an engine, some measure of strain and giving you a sense for when the tires are going to actually make it over a particular obstacle, we've actually worked to augment the sound to give feedback to the driver in those situations as well, where feedback's really important.
Peter, as you know, a lot of enthusiasts don't like fake sound. They don't think that it's genuine. But in my experience and what you just had me go through in the Hummer, it actually enhanced the driving experience.
Oh, I think that's definitely true.
And not just from a sound standpoint, but it was providing feedback that I thought actually made the driving better.
Yeah, I think that's a really good insight, John. I think in EVs, there's just inherently a greater feeling of technology, and sound can augment the feeling of technology, and it can be emotive to people. It can definitely enhance the experience overall if it's done properly. I think that sometimes sound augmentation can be kind of cheesy and fake and all, but when it's done right, when you're really thoughtful about it and you do it the right way, I think it can definitely add to the automotive experience.
And then one last one, at the other end of the spectrum, taking noise out. Noise cancellation, and that seems to be particularly important in electric cars.
Yeah, and we've now touched on three things really: immersive audio, and then the enhancement of audio or sound management in the vehicle. And the third that you've just mentioned, John, is noise cancellation. And I think here, again, there are very deep roots at Bose. I mean, everybody remembers the first time they were on an airplane and they listened to their Quiet Comfort earphones and how it transformed headphones and how it transformed, flying overall. Bose just launched the new Quiet Comfort 2 earbuds, and they are peerless. Best noise cancellation of any form factor, including over-ear headphones. Same principles apply in a vehicle. And so when you take powertrain noise out of an electric vehicle, conventional ICE powertrain noise, get rid of the engine and the driveline and the exhaust, you lower the floor, and you've got you unmask sounds, and you have a lower sound stage that you can work with, to do premium audio and sound enhancement. So we're working on road noise cancellation. And, it's not only just for the purpose of sound reduction, which, speaks quality and luxury and reduces fatigue. It also enables OEMs to reduce mass because they get rid of a lot of passive damping, acoustic glass and dampers and vibration absorbers and all this kind of stuff. It lowers cost, and it also enables greater packaging efficiency. So the benefits sort of compound with noise reduction.
And I think this tagline behind it captures it all. Sound is power.
It really is. Yeah, we believe it. I think the company is really getting back to its roots, focusing on music and focusing on all the things that can be done with sound, whether it's in the home or on the go or in the car, to augment experiences and create more impassioned, emotive experiences.
Good stuff. Peter, thanks so much.
Great. Yeah, thanks for having me.